Hi guys, thanks for joining. I'm Rebecca Libby and this is Zenith Workouts. Today we're doing just a quick additional arms add-on for like a level 1, but can be appreciated if you're also working on other levels. You'll want some hand weights, so you can do it without, of course. But if you have like 1 pound, 2 pounds, I do have 3, which is probably the highest that I would go, or even just some soup cans or anything to add a little bit of resistance. So we're going to start with our feet in parallel and our arms at our sides. And we're just going to bend the elbows once you get your organization in your spine. And we're going to bring the weights together. And then we're going to open them without letting the elbows leave our sides. So sort of feel like you pin the elbows to the sides. You breathe in. The weights are together. You exhale and open up without moving anything in the spine. So as you open the weights and you open the chest, the shoulder blades remain wide, the head and the neck remain nice and long. And this is direct rotator cuff activation. So it's not a lot of strain on the rotator cuff, but it's a nice movement that requires those muscles to warm up. And we're just going to do 3 more like that. 2. We'll hold the last one open. And then again, without moving that spine or letting the head and neck come out of alignment, you're just going to pulse and press those weights back for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring it in and relax. From here, we're going to bring the arms straight out in front. And then we'll lower and press them straight back behind us. So this shoulder flexion and extension. And what I'd like you to work on is the organization in your spine and the width across your chest. So as the arms float up, as you breathe in and those weights rise, I want you to feel like you slide the shoulder blades down your back, but you stay really wide, like between the upper arm bones, across your collarbones, across your chest. And as you exhale, you're going to press the weights back behind you, staying wide across the chest. And as the weights come behind, resist the urge to let the chin poke forward or the spine to arch more. Right? So here we go. Nice breath in to raise the weights and exhale to press them down. So just think about being really broad from the tip to tip of your shoulders and totally still in the spine. Right? You can go slightly above shoulder level with weights as you breathe in if you're happy with that. But you don't have to push it. It's more today what I'd like you to do is be really in good form through your chest, shoulder blades, collarbones, upper arms. Good. And we're going to hold this one back. And I want you to press the weights behind you more. Then I want you to draw the shoulder blades together. Then I want you to get wide across between the shoulder blades. And then release the arms just down by your hips. So we'll do that little repeater. The arms go back behind you. You hold them there. You don't let them move. Shoulder blade squeeze together. Shoulder blade release. Lower the arms. So back. Shoulder blades draw together. Shoulder blades get wide. Release it down. And that's hard, eh? If you have any amount of tension in the front of the chest, you're working against that, which is a good thing. Sometimes we're weak in those postural muscles, which is what we're addressing here. And it's hard to keep the spine still. So feel the belly draw in. Feel those low ribs pull back. Try to stay long in the neck. We're going to do 2 more. Arms reach back. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Shoulder blades widen. Release everything. Last time. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Shoulder blades widen. Hold it there. Hold it there. And try to lift those arms a little bit higher for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. And relax it down. Nice, eh? Good. So we're going to give our the back of our shoulder blades a little break. But I'd like you, we're gonna raise the arms out to the sides on this next one. And you have two options, because sometimes this is a little much for us. That's a really long lever if you've picked a heavier weight or you have an old shoulder injury. You could always do it with the elbows bent, shorter lever, right? But still the same motion with the upper arm coming up to the side. So pick what your body's happy to do there. And be wide across the chest, drawn in with the low ribs, head and neck relaxed. And on your exhale, we'll do it. So slide the shoulder blades down your back first. Float the arms up. Inhale to lower. And what I'd like you to do, again, like this is a simple motion with the arm. It might not feel simple, but it's not like a complicated, have to think about it. I'd like you to make your form perfect. So if you had your back up against the wall behind you and you did the arm raise, the arms would stay against the wall, against the wall, against the wall. They wouldn't drift forward and off, right? The head wouldn't leave the wall. Everything, it's like laying on your back and making a snow angel in the snow. And again, the arms don't have to go super high. If you're comfortable, yeah, they can raise up above the shoulders, right? But more, I want you to feel like you drop the weights down and you get wide, 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 and you've got a huge distance between this weight and this weight. At this point, you're not tight in the shoulder blades or closed in the chest at that moment, hey? So nice and slow and controlled with your perfect form. We're going to try to do 4 more. And it's okay if you started with the long lever to decide to do a short one towards the end, right? Good. Make this one your last one. And whether you have the arm bent or you have it out straight, you're going to do a little circle with it. So if you have the straight arm, you're going to do 4 each way. You're going to circle just that arm. Just that arm. Just that arm. If you have the elbow bent, you're circling, but just at the elbow. And it's not a big motion. You're not feeling any motion of the chest. Sorry, reverse your circle. That will be hard if you do too many. Just 4. 4 the other way. The chest is nice and still. It's like our leg circles we do. This is an arm circle. And then release it down. Give the arms a break because we're going to float back up and do the circles on the other side. So exhale. You're open across the chest. You're relaxed in the neck. And you're going to take that arm and you're going to just circle for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, reverse it for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and release it down. Good. So that's our standing work. We're going to come down now onto our back. Yeah, onto our back. So still with your weights. And we're going to take the weights. Just have the elbows bent at the side for a minute while you get organized. So you have your neutral spine. You have your relaxed head and neck. Your open chest, shoulder blades in contact with the mat. And then we're going to reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Good. And this is going to be a chest opener. So we're going to have the weights together to start with. You should feel the shoulder blades on the mat and try to feel wide there. And try to feel the whole spine nice and relaxed into the mat. Breathe in and open up. And lower those weights so that they're about an inch from the mat. The floor. Don't let them quite touch. So you're always active. And then exhale. Feel the connection with your core as you bring the arms back overhead. So get wide, get wide, get wide, get wide. Lower them down. Stop an inch from the floor. And bring them back up. And you can speed this up if you want. It's your own breath pace today. But I'd like you to feel that the rib cage stays nice and still against the mat, that all the neck muscles stay relaxed, all right? There's no tension in the jaw, there's no tension in the throat. This is purely working that front chest and front arms. 2 and 1, and we're going to hold this one, open up and hold it just hovering. Hover, 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 an inch from the mat if you can. We're going to add to this just a little bit. I want you to raise the arms like up towards your head, just a tiny bit, just like a few inches. Keeping them hovering. and then back straight out from your shoulders, and then lower them down towards your hips. Again, just hovering, and that's hard. Bring them back out from your shoulders. Stay wide between those shoulder blades. Weights come up towards your head a little bit. Back out in your T position. Lower towards your hips a bit. Isn't that hard across the chest? Back out to your T position. Let's do 2 more. Right? If you picked 3 pounds, you're in trouble right now, because I feel it. But if you go with 1 or 2, this might be okay. It's all right to give yourself a break in between. If you did go with some heavier weights, that's okay. It's just that these are usually little muscles, right? So it should feel like a good work and not a strain. So last one, the arms float overhead an inch. They come back out into your T, and they go down. Awesome. Come back to your T position. Use your exhale, and bring those arms back up overhead, and just give them a little break. So from there, we're going to straighten those arms, those elbows again, overhead. And here you could even like hold the weights in both hands. Don't drop them on yourself. But if you wish to just sort of combine them, because we're going to do a little tricep move here. So you're holding your solar plexus, your low ribs back against the mat. You're wide across your chest. You feel the shoulder blades on the mat. And you're going to bring the arms overhead, sort of on like a 45-degree, or wherever you're comfortable to stop. Okay? So you've stopped here. And then we're going to bend the elbows to touch those weights to the floor behind you, and then straighten them back out. Okay? Lower and straighten. And just depending how this feels in your shoulder, you could always choose to just use one weight. You don't have to have both. So here I'm doing this with 6 pounds. It's not bad for me, but I'm not, I'm not trying to rehab a shoulder injury or something either. So you just go with what your body is telling you here. You'd like your elbows to be symmetrical though. So try not to have one out a little wider than the other, right? So when you're looking at them, they should both be equal distance from your center line. And there's no movement in the upper arm. This is all sort of just the forearm, lowering by bending the elbow, raising by straightening it out. Good. I'm going to speed it up just for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and bring it overhead and slowly release. Good. From there, we're going to come on our side. Because we're always looking to have like a lot of value for our time, you can leave the knees still if you want, or our first exercise, you're going to add in a little clamshell. And the motion is going to be just to have the elbow sitting right on top of your waist and grabbing the weight, so the elbow's bent to 90 degrees. And as you exhale, you're going to raise the weight up without getting space between the elbow and the waist, so the elbow's not raising like this. Elbow's staying there. So lower and raise, lower and raise. And if you wish, you can add in the knee as well, just to get some good hip work. Totally optional. If you want to just focus on the form at the shoulder, that's fine. But we're going to do 4 more. If you're adding in the leg, make sure you stay still in the pelvis. And if you're feeling tension in the upper, like in the neck or the upper shoulder, make sure that shoulder blade is, the collarbone's open, the shoulder blade is gently slid down your back. Hold this one up and pulse it a little higher for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and lower it down. Good. Then we're going to take that arm straight up overhead. So the weight is directly above your shoulder. We're going to lower it down towards the hip. Raise it back up. And overhead towards, as if you're going to bring your bicep to your ear. It's probably not going to get there. That's uncomfortable. But that's your thought, is just this big sweeping arc motion where you stay really open across the chest. You're reaching that weight towards the ceiling. You're staying open across your chest as it comes overhead and back down. And we're going to do 4 more. So that you're getting a little bit of side body, like sort of under the arm working there, right? This is our last one. We happy here? Hopefully. Yeah, good. Sorry, I did sort of a half extra there. Lower the arm, and we'll do the other side. So just one weight needed in front of you. Bottom arm is your pillow. If that's not comfortable, remember you cradle your head or you put a little pillow there. You want your nice spine alignment, and you have the option of just doing the weight with the elbow pinned to the side at first, that elbow bent at 90 degrees, and picking up the weight without letting there become space between the elbow and the waist, and then lowering it down with control. Or you can also add the knee for that little clamshell motion. And this is a really nice one. This is directly a rotator cuff exercise. So if you need to go with something lighter, it's not a big muscle that we're working here, or a big group of muscles, I should say. So if you feel like, oh, no, that tiredness isn't a good tiredness, then choose something that's a little bit lighter. Also watch that you're keeping your 90 degrees at the elbow and not like bending it more or straightening it out. You want it to you want that weight to be coming straight up and straight down and straight up and straight down. Good. We're going to hold this one up, and you're going to pulse it a little higher for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. Lower it down. And then raise that arm straight up from the shoulder. Stay open across the chest. So you're not happy to just have the weight here. You want to be reaching that weight towards the sky, right? Really feeling a lot of length in the arm. Lower, keeping that idea of length, lower the weight down towards the hip, and then up and over, as if you're going to bring it, your bicep towards your ear. You don't have to touch, but that's your thought. As you bring it up and overhead, you're not letting that weight sneak forward, way over here. So if you're tight in the shoulder, that's why you might stop long before you get to your bicep to your ear. It's just that's your thought, is staying in that one plane, not letting the arm get behind you, not letting the arm get in front of you. That was the timer for the bread dough. You guys are going to think I make bread all the time or something. The boys do eat a lot of it. Good. Let's do one more just like this. Up and overhead. Since I did an extra half on the other side, we'll lower. And then we'll pause with that arm straight to the ceiling. And lower and release. Good. So you're done with your weights, actually. But what would an arm workout be without a little bit of push-ups, right? And we're doing push-ups with a little finesse today. And you have your choice of how you do your push-ups as far as like how much weight you put on your arms, right? If you're not used to doing push-ups, that's just something you've never liked, or like I said, you have an old shoulder injury you're rehabbing, then you can do push-ups with your knees right under your hips, right? We're going to be letting the elbows go wide today, so you might want to take a little wider than usual stance with your arms, with your hands, I mean. And you could do your push-up here, and that's good if you're having good form in your shoulders. Or you start to walk your knees out. Maybe you're somewhere in between that position and a modified plank, right? That's still good. Or maybe you're used to doing a little bit of push-ups and you're in that modified plank position. Or I doubt you're turning into a level 1 video if you can do full push-ups from your toes. So that's not an option today. Modified plank is going to be your hardest, right? Or a little bit of bend at your hips. That's not wrong, as long as you're in your neutral spine. Or like I said, beginning, knees right under the hips, okay? What we're going to do is start by getting your good chest formation. So go into a bad position where you let everything collapse and the chin is poking forward, and then you're going to say, no, 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 no. Bring that head and neck into line with the rest of the spine. Press the chest away from the mat. Unlock the elbows and get ready to begin. And then our motion today is going to be, I want you to try to bend your elbows and for as long as possible, not let your chest drop, right? So often we unlock the elbows and immediately we lose the organization in the shoulders, in the upper body, in the shoulder blade, chest area. So what I'd like you to do is bend the elbows, bend the elbows, bend the elbows, but don't let that chest drop yet. Don't let it drop, don't let it drop. And then eventually, yes, you're going to have to lower the chest while you do your push-up. But that's your goal. Unlock the elbows. Keep bending them, keep bending them, keep bending them, but try not to let the chest, the rib cage move towards the mat, and then eventually, yes, you go into your push-up. But it doesn't have to be a deep push-up because you're going to feel that. So let's try to do 6 more. We'll go for 8. Unlock the elbows, keep bending them, but you're pressing the chest more away from the mat. You're feeling wide between the shoulder blades, wide across the chest, and back up. Unlock, 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 unlock. Bend, bend, bend. And back up. We got 4 more. I'm feeling that. Hopefully you are too. So bend the elbows, stay wide across the chest, and lower. When you press back up, make sure you don't, stop yourself short. Make sure you really press the chest away from the mat. You get to your full up position. You want to feel the spine between the shoulder blades, almost pressing towards the ceiling. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want you to round your spine, but maybe a good visualization for some of you. This should be our last one, I think, if it's not going beyond 8 even. And beautiful. Good. Just take one moment to go back with the hips towards the heels into like a shell stretch, but instead of bringing the arms around, you're going to stretch them out overhead. Lower the forehead to the mat if that feels comfortable, but then sort of wiggle the fingertips forward to almost get a little stretch in the shoulders there. Beautiful. And then when you're done, roll it up to nice kneeling. And don't those arms feel light and free now? But hopefully active and happy. So there you go. Some additional arms. If you found that difficult, then do it again in a couple days. See how it goes. See how when it can become easy for you, I guess. All right. I'll see you next time. Ciao.